Hello and welcome back to the Not Old Firm YouTube channel. My name is Ben Banks. We're here to look back on a pretty astonishing Scottish Cup final. Perhaps not for the game itself, albeit I quite enjoyed the encounter, but more so for the achievement at the end of it. St Johnstone have won the Scottish Cup final for the 2020-21 season, completing an unprecedented cup double. Won the League Cup in February against Livingston. Sean Rooney scored the winning goal in that one, and again, he was the man who scored the winning goal in this one. David Witherspoon's brilliant chop sent Alex Gogic the wrong way, floated into the box, and Sean Rooney's header at the back post past Matt Macy to seal the victory for him, St Johnstone. An astonishing feat. St Johnstone deserved it on the day, even though the scoreline was only 1-0. It could have been a couple extra goals for St Johnstone if it weren't for Matt Macy made a great double save later on in the game. But we'll recap the game a wee bit just now. But I mean, yeah, you can't help but smile at St Johnstone's achievement. Amazing. I think it's 1989-90. It was the last time a team outside Glasgow, that being Aberdeen, won a cup double. Only the fourth time it's happened in Scottish football, but the circumstances around this one are unbelievable. And perhaps, certainly, makes it one of Scottish football's greatest ever achievements. But the game itself, fairly gritty. St Johnstone game, the Great Wall of China at the back, Hadrian's Wall, whatever you want to call it, and Jason Kerr, Liam Gordon, and Jamie McCarr, absolutely superb. Hibs were a bit. I didn't really. I don't know. When you're launching balls down their throats, then there's only going to be one winner. Christian Doidge wins a lot of those headers, but not against three of them. Even one of them, you're not going to win headers against them. It's been proven, in sort of, at least in the second half of this season, they've been absolutely brilliant. They were again today, complete rocks, and Hibs never got a sniff really. Martin Boyle was extremely quiet, didn't have a kick of the ball. Kevin Nisbet, I can't really remember doing anything of note. Christian Doidge was just ganged up upon by three big defenders. Sean Rooney and Callum did their defensive job well, and James Brown, when he came on, did all right as well. So they never got a sniff going forward. Hibs, the fullbacks sort of sat back a bit. Yeah, it just wasn't great from Hibs, if I'm being honest. And St Mirren looked very, very lively on the counter. But in the first half, they did have their chances. Hibs, Jackson Irvine had a really big one at 0-0. Xander Clark using his leg to save that, and that was Hibs' big opening game. If they score that at 0-0, then perhaps the final takes a bit of a different turn. But St Johnstone have proven tricky for Hibs in the league. Their most recent counter was 1-0 to St Johnstone at Easter Road, and that was a St Johnstone side that rotated with 7 changes. And then in January, of course, St Johnstone beat Hibs 3-0 in the League Cup semi-final. There's something about St Johnstone that just seems to trouble Hibs. They drew as well earlier at Easter Road earlier in the season. It seems to be a real bogey team for Hibs, and again, that was the case today. The one goal, David Witherspoon gets it down the left, as already said. Alex Gogic sort of jumps. It takes him out of the game. He crosses it in. Josh Doig against Sean Rooney. That was seen as one of the big battles in this game. Josh Doig, I thought, actually had a fairly decent-ish game. Not his best game by any stretch of the imagination, but I thought he did all right. Certainly one of Hibs' better performers. But having him marking Sean Rooney at the back post, Sean Rooney's about half a foot taller than him. The one thing you would say Josh Doig needs to develop is probably his physicality. That's to be expected at 19 years of age. I'm 19. I'm not exactly Hercules, but Sean Rooney at the back post was always going to win a header. That was always going to be the case. And to be fair, Josh Doig never found himself in too much of a situation where he had to deal with that. But the one time he did find himself in that situation, there's not a whole lot he can do. Sean Rooney doesn't even need to jump all that much to get above him, and it heads past Matt Macy. Hibs after that didn't really create much of note. They created a few wee things here and there. Melker Hallberg had a header late in the game. Next big chance probably came for St Johnstone in the second half. Glenn Middleton broke superbly on a Hibs corner, and Chris Kane filled in the box by Paul McGinn after a Ryan Porteous error. Middleton stepped up and his penalty was decent. If it wasn't a 6'7" Matt Macy in goals, probably goes in, but it's a great save with his left hand, and then he does even better to stop it with his foot. I know Chris Kane could perhaps do better, but for Macy to get himself off up the deck and to save it with his foot in the space of a couple of seconds, really, really good. And with Ophir Marciano now away from Hibs, he was on the bench today, but that'll be him officially no longer part of Hibs. Matt Macy looks like a sure bet to be Hibs' number one next season. Off the back of his cup performances, you can't really take that away from him. He's been really, really solid for them in the cup games and league games that he's played so far. But St Johnstone, wow. I think I said it in the semi-final, after the semi-final victory. Where does he go? Does he just... I think at the end of the Oasis Supersonic documentary, if anybody's seen that, it might be a niche reference for people, but Noel Gallagher speaks at the end of that, at the 1996 Nebworth gig where Oasis sold it out and it was record-breaking concerts for UK at that time, that perhaps they should have just waved goodbye and rode off into the sunset at that point and just called it there. I mean, and now again, I emphasise, St Johnstone fans will be desperate that that's not the case, and I very much doubt that will be the case. Callum Davidson will be back next season at St Johnstone, but again, if any big jobs come up down south, he'll be one of the first names on them after his success here. But does he just ride off into the sunset? I mean, there's nothing really else he can do at St Johnstone, really. Cup double, doesn't matter what he does from it, as long as he doesn't get St Johnstone relegated, which isn't going to happen, let's be honest. He'll be remembered as St Johnstone's greatest ever manager. Unbelievable, it's his first season and he's already got that tag. Credit to St Johnstone, it's his first managerial job. He was in the assistant coaching team with Tommy Wright when they won the 2014 Scottish Cup. He went down south with Stoke City and Millwall, learned his trade as an assistant at a very decent level, and he's came up. They were really struggling at the start of the season. I remember somebody on this channel, that wasn't me, saying perhaps was Callum Davidson a good fit for St Johnstone? Was it too early for him? The 3-5-2 didn't seem to be working, but they've persevered through that, and since maybe November, December time, they've been unreal. They've perhaps not smashed teams 4-5-0, but they're just grinding out results everywhere. European football next season, 2 cups. I think the disappointing, that's probably not a good word to use with St Johnstone now, but the way UEFA's coefficient system's working is that the group stages perhaps look a bit more difficult than this result would have guaranteed group stage football. That doesn't look to be the case anymore, although UEFA will confirm that a week on Monday, I believe. Just unbelievable season. I mean, they'll play in Europe and you would fancy their chances of getting to at least the conference group stages, and if they get group stage football with Callum Davidson, then I mean, he puts himself very high up in the shop window for some of the best jobs in the English Championship, at the very least. An unbelievable job, and he'll be remembered now 50 years time. If I'm still fortunate enough to be doing stuff in football, I'm sure I'll be talking and writing about Callum Davidson's achievements with this St Johnstone side. Absolutely terrific. The job for them now is going to be keeping hold. And you would like to think Xander Clark, still only 28, 29, he'll attract interest as a goalkeeper. He's still got 4 or 5, probably longer, 5-6 years left at the top level. Jason Kerr's already attracted interest. Liam Gordon will be the same, he'll attract interest. Jamie McCart as well. Ali McCann's been scouted by Celtic, so they'll face a fight to keep him. They've still got the core of the sort of older guys like Liam Craig and Murray Davidson. Great to see Murray Davidson get out after all the hardship he's been out. Missed 2 cup finals with St Johnstone. He finally got on the park and won. They've got Charlie Gilmore signed up for next season on a 2-year deal. He's one for the future. And yeah, a really, really top achievement from St Johnstone. But that's all I've got time for this. Do remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Congratulations to St Johnstone, commiseration to Hibs, and until next time, take it easy.